It is 6:30, and we do have a quorum. I will call a meeting of the Conservation Commission for August 16th open. We do have minutes to approve. I'll entertain a motion for the minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. We have two new public hearings tonight, and first on the agenda is 586 Manley Street, and that will be for a notice of intent and general stormwater bylaw. Do we have a presenter?
I believe you don't.
Okay.
And the reason for that is that they are asking for a continuance to the September 6th meeting.
Okay.
They're also notifying the abutters that it's going to be continued to the 6th. So I anticipate at the next meeting you will have people in the audience. But before you move on,
Yep.
I have a estimate from Amory Engineering to do a peer review for this project, because our review engineer is the one that did the site and is designing the site, so they can't review their own work. So I want to give you an idea of what that is, so if you'll let me share, I'll bring up the estimate.
You don't want to screen share.
Nope. You should be all, hold on 1 second.
Under the screen share, hit the white arrow, not the green arrow.
No.
No. Plus here again.
Seriously, there you go.
Yeah, you should be able to.
Yep, all set, John. You should be able to.
Not that one, sorry. I think he's just finding it.
There it goes. Hold on.
All right, so Amory Engineers is a engineering firm that was recommended by a number of different Conservation Commission agents that I reached out to, and also the Planning Board has used them as well, the West Bridgewater Planning Board. So they sent an estimate to do the review of the 586 Manley Street project for an estimated amount of $3,780. So what I'm recommending is that we request the applicant to send us $5,000 for a deposit, and anything that's not used we can return. But I'm anticipating, since we haven't used this company before, that there may be more than one review. The price that they gave us is very consistent with what Allen and Major have been using for their fees to do the review, so I don't think it's way out of whack. But not having any experience with them, I'd much rather err on the side of caution and ask them to give us $5,000. So if the commission is agreeable to that, I will execute the signature place on this thing and send it to them tomorrow so they can start working on it.
And they do have time to work on it?
Yes.
Okay. I know with engineers right now, it can be a little difficult, so
Well, if they requested it for the next meeting,
I mean, it's
they should be able to. Assuming.
yeah, I'll entertain a motion to authorize the agreement and request $5,000 deposit.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. And I'll entertain a motion to continue the hearing till September 6th.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
All right, thank you.
All right. Next on our agenda, we have a public hearing for a proposal by the town of West Bridgewater for a request for determination of applicability for Sluiceway repairs to the walls in War Memorial Park. We are open, and I believe Chris is here to tell us what he wants to do.
Sure. We are
I'll
continuing.
bring up a copy of the document in just 1 second.
This is for you too.
Thank you. I printed one out too, just to make sure.
This is our emergency repair.
Yes.
I thought there was already emergency repairs done.
There's always an emergency.
Oh, so this is another one.
This is another one.
All right.
You want me to start speaking or we wait, John?
And bring it up.
There we go.
Can you see it?
Yeah, it's sideways, but we can get it.
Yeah, I got it sideways too.
Let me see if I can
Rotate it.
rotate it.
There we go.
All right.
So this is,
All right, this project is to have the repair to the Sluiceway walls on the town park that have been created by some washout of the wall itself in the collapse of it. And where the work is, I will bring it along here to. All right, this is the overall plan of the park. So here's River Street, if you can see my cursor,
Yep.
the Arch Street Bridge, and the Sluiceway that is of the problem is in this area here. And if you've been to the park, it's been cordoned off because of the danger, and it needs to be repaired. And I'm recommending that it be considered a request for a determination of applicability, that all of their proposals to do this work are going to protect the stream, and therefore does not require filing of the notice of intent. So I'm recommending a -3. The work is in the resource area, but does not require a notice of intent.
Chris, want to say anything? Or John pretty much?
John wrapped it up. I mean, we've been doing this for several years. We could call this phase 5. We weren't planning on doing it, but it collapsed back in February, March. And because it was a sensitive area, could be considered a dangerous area, we have had it fenced off with chain link fence for months. And we finally, after getting CPA money at town meeting, had the engineer, Fussin O'Neill, who's been doing all our work, design this area, and then we had a bid opening last week. And the bid that won, or I hope it won, will start construction as soon as we
Okay.
get it.
That was my next question, was how soon are you going to get?
I'd like to think soon. We're hoping this fall, because once November hits, it's too wet and the river rises and everything.
We
So
hope.
We hope, maybe after tomorrow. So we want to get it done because I don't want to have it fenced off for another winter. So we'll see how we do.
Who's gonna be doing the work? Oh, you think it's gonna
Austin
hopefully?
O'Neill's the engineer,
Yeah.
and Mark Ramco Survey was the only one that put in a bid. We had 5, I think, companies that came to bid opening, and he's the only one that submitted, so we're hoping. And he has done
Yeah.
2 of the previous projects, and then 2 other companies before him, so.
Now, while they're in there working, do you look around, I don't know, I'm just saying, do you look around and see if any more has to be done, or?
We do. What we have is, we have this, one project is the base project, and Fuss and O'Neill came up with 3 alternates, 3 other areas that
Oh,
have
okay.
small collapses. Plus, we thought even of dredging the corner there with the Sluiceways block off. And, but as you know, one of the things that they're requesting is some cement in the base, and cement is tripled in cost. So even what we thought back in May may cost more.
Yeah.
So we have these alternates always ready, so that if they do the base work and they found that they got it done, we can do a little bit more. And that's the way we've always done these projects, and it's worked out good. So,
Chris, what's the definition of a sluiceway?
Sluiceway? Definition?
Yeah.
Well, we call them canals.
Okay.
Sluiceway, I'm not sure, you'd have to look that up. I know I've called it Sluiceways, it's been written Sluiceway on plans for years.
Okay.
But they're the canals that were built to channel the water for the mills.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
How much of the town, since this is phase 5,
Yeah.
how much of the town of the park is basically been
Fixed?
fixed? Yeah.
Quite a few areas. I think up to this collapse, which we weren't expecting.
Yeah.
We had gotten just about all the worst areas, the areas that were leaning bad or had already collapsed. And we were focusing on cemetery work, because we're working our way through each cemetery in town. And when this happened, I had to cancel my next phase of cemetery work, and put the money towards this.
I mean, it's kind of hard to tell with all the, if you get the frost and everything like that.
Just don't
Within
know.
every year, you don't know what's going to happen.
Don't know.
But at least you go in there and you take a look around and see if you can see if there's anything else. Then.
And he's got a list still of more areas. We have a lot of small areas
Yeah.
that have been on the list for years, but I think it was 250,000 the first time, and it's been 125 each other phase, perhaps. So we've done probably $500,000 or even more than that over the.
Have you been able to get all the money from?
All CPA.
That's good.
Yeah. The only initial money that we got was from Mass Historic, which was for the grant to
Yeah.
do a study on what needed to be done.
And then when you go to rebuild the section, is it back to where it's the period of how it was done before,
Yeah.
or close to it?
We have to do historic restoration, so
Yeah.
it has to be somebody that's certified in
Okay.
that, because the engineer is under scrutiny of Mass Historic.
Yeah.
However, they do allow them to use some cement, and lately, we've been using more even on the top pieces, because we find that vandals
Yep.
will start kicking it right back in. And
Yep.
there's nothing that gets me more angry than that.
I hear you.
So, sometimes by gluing or pasting with cement, we try to hope that that top thing will stay.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work, because as you know, cement isn't the best, and they still can kick it loose, but, and then sometimes he wants the foundation of these things down in the riverbed
Yeah.
to have a cement footing too, to help. So,
Yeah. Okay. I figured with it being historic, I didn't know I had to go back to. Thought it would.
yeah. It's on the National Register.
Yeah.
So because of that, we have guidelines we have to follow.
Sounds good.
Any other questions? Not? I'll let.
Could John just say why again we don't have to require something or other?
The notice of intent,
Yeah, because it's, you just,
it's within our jurisdiction, but because they've already basically done previous work,
okay.
and they already have done a filing to do the initial work, it's already on record that there's work to be done there. So it's basically a continuation of what he's already started.
It's already been done, I mean, I just treated it as a Walnut.
River.
Okay, thank you.
I'll entertain a motion to issue a -3.
Make that motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close.
In a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you.
See ya.
Thank you. Thanks, Chris.
All right, next we have Lincoln Street, West Center Street, general stormwater permit, road improvements. And Stephanie, do you want to talk about that or present anything?
Yeah, so I'm Stephanie McDonald with McMahon on behalf of this project, the Lincoln Street intersection improvement. We still haven't received our third-party comments, so we're waiting on those to be addressed. And then also to be discussed more in depth at tomorrow's planning board meeting is it looks like that right turn lane from West Center Street heading eastbound, but the right turn lane onto Lincoln Street South will be approved or will be put into play. We touched upon it at the last meeting, that it might be a possibility, and lo and behold, it looks like it will be. Again, it will be discussed more in depth tomorrow night. So at the last meeting, we discussed that that the change would be a minor change. So I just wanted to know what you guys would like us to do in anticipation of the next meeting.
I might step in.
Yep.
What I would ask the commission to consider allowing both Stephanie and Phil Cadero at Dallin and Major to talk directly without having to go through sending a letter to the commission and waiting for all of that. They can kind of hash out some of the minor issues directly through emails or phone calls, and that way it should speed up the process. So if the commission is willing to do that, I can alert them to that fact and make sure they have both contacts so that we can speed up this process.
I would say that would make sense. And also looking at it, that we kind of knew about the lane change being something that would probably go into play, so that we could call that a minor project change, because we've already known about it, and deal with it as the plans progress.
Right.
Yeah, they can only do that because of widening,
Right.
so.
Anybody else have anything? Okay, then I'll entertain a motion to approve both the consulting engineer and the design engineer to work out the changes.
Make the motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
So moved. And we want to continue to our next meeting on the 6th. Does that make
That's
sense?
good for you, Stephanie?
Yes.
All right, then I'll entertain a motion to continue the hearing till the 6th.
Motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you, and good luck with the planning board. All right. Next, we have the West Center Street, Old West Center Street, the ANRAD. Any updates, or is that going to be continued as well?
I don't see the wetland consultant on this evening, and I sent them a email with the items that were needing to be addressed, and so I would assume that we're going to have to continue this to the 6th as well.
Right. Then I'll entertain a motion to continue to the 6th.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. All right, and that takes care of the public hearing part. Now we have a bunch of administrative items. 34 South Street, for a certificate of compliance request.
This was a stormwater management permit, general stormwater management permit for a single-family house at the corner of South and Bryant Street. And they submitted their as-built, and I recommend issuing a certificate. And they submitted a certification from the engineer that it was in compliance with the permit. And so I recommend the commission voting to issue a certificate of compliance.
That address is 34 South Street?
Yeah.
Isn't the driveway,
Isn't that
Everything
driveway
on
on
Bryant
Bryant
Street?
Street? So is it gonna change?
they're not taking it
Yeah,
out?
so originally it was, the building permit went out for 34 South Street, and it actually does have a driveway onto Bryant Street, and probably will have a address on Bryant Street eventually.
Shouldn't approve anything. Don't do anything till it's changed, I'm thinking. Right?
What does that get us?
It's a false.
Well, because the permit and everything was pulled under the South Street address, and that's how the filing was, even though the physical street address will eventually be changed by the assessors.
Okay, yeah, my
So-
assessors, all right.
Yeah, I mean, it'll still go with that property.
It'll have to change, yeah.
Right, but they'll have to change it on that point.
Yeah. that's
So,
fine.
anybody have anything else on that one?
No.
Then I'll entertain a motion to issue a certificate of compliance.
Make the motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Next, we have a request for certificate of compliance for 1 Lamppost Lane.
This one is the first house when you go into Lamppost Lane, and it's the one on the right, the first one on the right. And we've received the as-built, we've received the certificate of compliance certification from the engineer, and we've also received $2,000 surety to have them complete the landscaping on the site. So I would recommend issuing the stormwater management COC with a bond of $2,000, which we've already received, and we'll hold that until the landscaping is finalized and in place and holding back any of the soil.
Any questions?
To make
Hearing
that
none,
motion.
I have a motion.
Second.
Mo to approve with bond. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Next, we have a request for certificate of compliance for 561 Walnut Street, and this is a regular filing.
All right, that is that old DEP file number, and we haven't gotten that after the fact filing, so I recommend continuing it to the next meeting.
I will entertain a motion to continue till the 6th.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor and continue?
Aye.
So moved. Next, we have 586 Manley Street, stormwater permit in violation update.
This is the original project that was there that went into violation, and we can't really issue a certificate for the stormwater until we have an approval of the new plan, which is the one that was first on the agenda tonight, and we continue to the 6th. So I'm going to recommend having both those discussions continue to the next meeting.
Which would also be the 586 request for the certificate of compliance as well.
Right, yep.
Well, entertain a motion to continue both 586.
That's been fined, is that correct?
Right, and they've agreed to the fine. We just,
What was that again?
that was the 140, and we did half, so I believe it's 70?
70?
Yeah.
In round numbers, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'll make that motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded to continue. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Sign documents.
And is there anything else to sign or approve as far as expenditures or invoices, John, that you know of?
None that I know of, and, let's see. There was something that was on my mind before the meeting started. So there's nothing else on the agenda, which I don't have a copy of in front of me, sorry.
No, that was it. There wasn't anything else after that. And the only thing that's come in were just the invoice for the advertisements for the last 3 public hearings.
All right, and I'll be back down in Massachusetts late tomorrow and part of Thursday morning to try to take care of some of those invoices and things like that, so I'll leave information for the commission on that. I guess the item that I had in my mind wasn't really that important, or I would have remembered it. So I have nothing else.
All right. Anybody else have anything else?
I got a question. This special condition paper that you sent to us, it's really nice. It's like a Bible. Is it applicable to all situations of special conditions or just this one?
John, did you get that?
No, I didn't.
The special conditions that you sent out to us.
Oh, that's what it was. Was it Carol who reminded me?
Yes, and she thought it was. I did read it, and it was quite extensive.
Yeah, quite.
And I'll say, good job.
Thank you. I'm pretty sure we covered everything, and the applicant has requested that I give him a call, so I'll be talking to him probably while I'm driving tomorrow, hands-free, of course, and try to answer some of his questions, because I provided them a copy of the draft.
Seems to me that you could apply every one of those conditions to every project, pretty much, and just change them a little bit.
Because I think it's because of the landscaping
You-
and not.
You probably
of
could
this whole
apply
town.
almost all of those to everyone. I mean, and I'm sure that's why this person is calling to ask clarification, and do they really have to do all of them? But, yeah,
The residential one isn't this long.
Huh?
The residential one isn't this long, like the one that I'm working under for my parent's house right
Yeah,
now.
Yeah,
is-
yeah.
certain
Oh, no,
things.
but-
yeah.
yeah.
for any commercial project,
Right,
this,
maybe, yeah.
or
Yeah.
large project, this
Right.
set of conditions makes sense.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, typically, the single-family home is a 2 or at the most 3-page order of conditions, but something like this is quite extensive and really needs a lot of control. And one of the things that you may have noticed is that I specifically required in this one to have the applicant hire an erosion control specialist to monitor the construction phase pollution control devices. That is not a contractor that's doing the work, because
Right.
it doesn't seem logical that you want to have someone who's working for the contractor building the site say everything's okay.
Yeah.
We need a third person, a third party oversight, and so specifically that's put in this one because of that. Sometimes on a small project, doesn't warrant that kind of third party, but in this case, I think it does.
Yeah, there's so much going on that site to begin with that it, yeah.
We did it for the school, I remember. We had an outside
Yeah,
engineer do it.
yep. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
So I want to thank Carol for jogging my memory.
Oh, you're welcome, John, anytime.
Now, John, do we need to vote and approve this one, or is this going to be the draft one when they finally approve it on their end, and then we'll vote to approve it?
No, if you're okay with it, I will be issuing it as it is and take the draft off of it.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll entertain a motion to issue it as is.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. You're good to go, John.
Thank you.
All right, does anybody else have anything else? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Sure, it's a long time.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. We're done.